Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kristina Moyer and I'm a two-dimensional artist in Turner Valley, Alberta. Today's video is a time-lapse video, so if you're interested in art, whether that's painting, drawing, whether you like watching it, learning a little bit, I do some instructional type videos, then please consider subscribing to my channel so you can see more. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can find out when I post my next video and share more love and light with you, because to me, paintings that I create is kind of sharing a piece of my life, my love, my light, and that's what I have for you today. I want to explain this painting because even though you look at it and you might think, wow, that's really cool, or maybe don't like it, that's okay too. What's cool to me is just looking at a painting and connecting with it. But what's even extra is when you get to learn a little bit about why the artist created that and what makes it so special. Why did I decide to put time into this moment that we had? What was this moment? So I'm going to dive into that in this video. So if you're interested in that, then stick around. If you're not interested in listening to that, then feel free to put on some other tunes. But I'd really love to share why this piece means so much to me and why I got emotional when I finished it. For one, finishing a piece that had challenges for me. I don't paint a lot of buildings, so there were some challenges there that I had to push through. It took me some time to get back into it after a point where I was really happy with where it was and I was worried about wrecking it. So I experienced that. I have my struggles with that, where I get my piece to a certain point and then I don't want to touch it because I don't want to ruin it. But I pushed on and I finished it, and that felt really good. It felt like finishing a marathon, though I don't know what that feels like because I've never done one, but maybe one day I will. Also, this sky, wow, it took me, I don't know why it was so hard. Maybe I was using too small of a brush at times. I wasn't using the right colors. There was paint issues happening, but I finally got through it. And so that was part of the emotion. But the deeper emotion is what I want to tell you about. So some of you know my story. I should say our story, my husband and I. I'm not going to tell you the whole story because even though this is a 20-minute video, which is kind of long if you're watching some videos, you can only handle for like 5 minutes even. But I wanted it to be a bit longer so that I could really explain some of what led to this picture happening, why it's here. So first of all, let me just tell you where this photograph was taken. So we traveled to California and this picture was taken at Balboa Park in San Diego. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot. You can walk around for free. Yay! I love free. And you can go into this botanical gardens for free as well. And there are all kinds of orchids in there and plants. And the ceiling is kind of open. So it's just this woodwork that has kind of like a lattice type of roof. That's really cool. So I highly recommend going to Balboa Park. It's right beside the zoo in San Diego. So I would definitely like to stay closer to that area if we were to travel there again. So that's what I'm painting. So why is that special? Why did I paint this? Well, first of all, I thought it was a really beautiful picture. Secondly, well, why did we even go to California? Well, a lot of people just go because it's beautiful, it's by the ocean, warm weather. We went in the winter, so, escaping the cold minus 40-degree temperatures of where I live in Alberta. So that's reason enough. But why did we even have the ability to take a 2-month-long trip in our 30s? So we're not, ridiculously rich or anything like that. So what happened? Well, in 2019, my husband was diagnosed with a rare stage 4 cancer called mucosal melanoma. And first of all, you hear that when you first find out, which we just found out, first of all, that he had some kind of cancer. They didn't know what kind. They did say something about metastasized malignant melanoma. That was the first thing I'd heard about from our family doctor when they started doing some tests. And that confused me because, first of all, I was like, wait, he didn't say the word cancer. So my mind went to malignant. Okay, pretty sure is that the good one or the bad one? When you hear benign, it's It's the good one. But when you hear malignant, it doesn't sound like a bad word, right? At least in my mind. So, anyways, for about a month and a half after finding that, it took them some time to figure out what type of cancer it was, because the one that they had tested said it was this melanoma, where we thought, well, shouldn't we see some kind of spot on his body? I've noticed that, and that wasn't the type of symptoms he was having. So we found the primary tumor in the nasopharynx. So that's in the back of the nasal cavity. Basically the closest part in the nasal cavity to the brain. And it's a melanoma type. So all 1% of melanoma is this mucosal melanoma. You can get it all in your mucous membrane. So that was something new we learned. At first, they didn't know what stage it was because they hadn't done a PET scan at that point. The other scans didn't seem to show it in other areas. However, he did have it in his bones. Once they did a PET scan, they saw that it was in some of the bones throughout his body. So then we found out that it was a stage 4 and that the treatment was going to be the same anyways. He actually started treatment before they even did the PET scan because they're like, we got to get started on this. This is serious. This is not good. So it was that thus started the roller coaster ride of dealing with this rare cancer and being the caregiver. So we started treatments and we were teaching people about these treatments because they were new. They're fairly recent. There's a lot of changes happening within cancer. Before we had about this like cancer journey begin, I thought, there's all this money going into cancer research. Why is there not already a cure for it all? And then I found out a lot about cancers and how, well, some of them actually do have some basically cures for them. And, some treatments can put people into remission. And some treatments, they're working on new things, so I didn't realize that. So we started this journey of immunotherapy. So we actually taught a lot of nurses, even when we had to go to the ER on multiple occasions because of the treatments, that what this immunotherapy was. And basically immunotherapy, in a very quick example of what was shown to us, was imagine your body as a garden. Okay, this is probably and I'm painting a garden, so it works out. When you want to get rid of plants, if you've heard of the product Roundup, it just kills everything, right? So that's basically like chemotherapy. That just kills the cells in the body, right? You see people, they lose their hair, they get so sick because it's not only killing the cancer, it's killing their body, the healthy cells. Immunotherapy, if you imagine when you need to feed your garden, you fertilize it, that helps strengthen it from the bad, the weeds, from, getting sicknesses. So that's kind of like immunotherapy. Sounds perfect, right? Well, our immune systems can actually attack us. So if you have colitis or those types of things, itises, anything itis is basically an inflammation that's caused by your body attacking itself, so the immune system. Didn't expect this for a time lapse, did you? So anyways, if you over-fertilize, that can actually hurt your garden as well. It can burn the plants that you're growing, that kind of thing. So you have to be careful not to over-fertilize. However, with immunotherapy, we kind of need to just put your body into high gear with this immune response so that it will attack the cancer. Because what's happened is everybody has cancer fighting cells. We all have cancer cells in our body, and our cancer fighting cells are attacking and destroying them. And then people that have cancer, those cells are unable to fight them off. They've taken over the neighborhood, so to speak. So it's like the dandelions. You just can't get rid of them, right? Sometimes they take over someone's lawn. They just have, your body's not taking care of it. So what immunotherapy does is it wakes up those fighting cells, takes the blinders off, and lets them attack the cancer, hopefully. Now, this works quite well, as we've been told, for other melanomas. However, with mucosal melanoma, it's less effective. It's more 50-50. And there's a toxicity rate. I think they told us it was 60% at the time, because they do high doses of 2 immunotherapy drugs 4 times was the plan, and then single dose drug for 2 years following that. That was the game plan. After the 4th treatment, now, first treatment went pretty well, we thought. It's like, oh, seems okay. But actually, after a week or so, he started to get all kinds of symptoms, being unwell, low appetite, all of these things that were quite unpleasant, and lots of pain. So he had to go on opioids to deal with that. And so that made a lot of difficulties as well, brought on some other challenges. And we could see that his liver numbers were being affected. So we were learning a little bit about liver and that type of thing. Well, after his 4th treatment, he had a fall that just going to the bathroom, just like had a fall. And he seemed okay, but, I decided to call the doctor the next day because it was in the middle of the night when he had the fall. He didn't seem to have any cuts or bruises or anything. So, like, magically, he did not hit his head on anything, just had a little fall. So then we decided she told us to get some blood work. We did. Turned out he was almost in liver failure. So he was admitted to the hospital, and he was there for almost a month. And they were luckily able to treat his liver using steroids and other things. And then was the healing process. So we had to stop, obviously, treatment, that kind of thing. So this was in the summer of 2019, where he was admitted to the hospital. And I was working also while going and seeing him and that kind of thing, / living at the hospital also. And then he was healing. And then we decided, okay, let's see the PET scan. Hopefully all of this was for something. But we saw that there was no improvement. And that was a kick in the gut, because we thought, well, at least you can get through this pain because it'll cure your cancer, hopefully, or at least make you clear of the disease. They don't say that there is a cure for this particular cancer, but at least clear the disease. So then we did decide to do another treatment in October. So after his liver numbers had come back to normal. So by the way, your liver ALT numbers, which basically says like the overall health of your liver and your body as well. Your liver is super important for your whole body. Normal is under 60, and his were in the 1,000 range. So they were, I think when they first got him, he was in the thousands, and not more than that wasn't like 2,000, but it was over 1,000. And it was staying up in the 900 range for a while. So it was disconcerting, but they eventually came back to normal. We did one treatment in October, and he immediately went back into not feeling well. And we decided, this is awful. This is not how, we want to spend the rest of our time together on this earth. This is not pleasant for either of us, and it's not good for our relationship, and you can't do anything. This is not joyful, and it's not seemingly helping anyways. So after a lot of prayer and thought, and lots of people praying for us through the whole experience, which we were so grateful, we decided, let's stop treatment. Because when he was on the steroids and healing his liver, it was like he came back to me, and it was so beautiful. But then the treatment just brought him back down, and it was like, ugh, no. So we decided, let's go on a trip. Well, we were worried about flying. We wanted to go to Hawaii for our 10-year was kind of the idea, because it was almost our 10-year anniversary at the end of the year. And we thought that would be lovely, but can he handle a flight? And we weren't sure if there would be problems with pressure in his head and that kind of thing. So we decided, let's do a road trip. Let's go down to where you served a mission in Arizona. Let's see California. I want to go to those places. It would be so cool. And maybe the San Diego Zoo. Let's try, let's have fun. Let's live our lives, because we had been dealing with infertility for so long. We hadn't been really living our lives. Well, we had been, we'd been saving all the time, because we wanted for fertility treatments and unsuccessfully. But anyway, so we finally went on a trip. And actually, we were also able to go to Hawaii. So this is a huge blessing. No, early November, or actually end of October, I believe it was, Stephen's aunt and uncle offered us one of their timeshare, and they have they can go to different locations based on whatever's available type of thing. And they have never seen Hawaii available. And yet there was one that came up. It was incredible. That was a little miracle for us. Anyway, so we went to Hawaii for a few weeks before Christmas. So we got to kind of experience the Christmas in Hawaii with all the Christmas lights and things, Melikiliki Maka or whatever the saying is. I don't know if I said it right. And so that was wonderful. And then we did this road trip as well. We already had it scheduled. So let's do both. Let's splurge. It was crazy. Because he was said to have only, about 6 months left, we were able to take out some of his life insurance. So so it's an advanced death benefit is what it is. And so we took out some of that to pay down some of our house payment as well as go on this trip. And so we traveled down and this is a spot we went to, and, because of his health, he isn't 100%, so he can't do everything he once was able to, but it was a miracle what he was able to do. I mean, we even went to Six Flags. It was a little sketchy. We were a little worried, and we didn't go on all the rides because we were worried about some of the cancer in his bones. But we did go to this spot in California. And so when I was painting this, it takes me back to that trip where it was just the two of us, and we were having these special memories. So this moment right here is about that whole year of hardship. There's continued hardship now. This past summer, it has spread a little bit into his brain, and we're waiting for another scan this coming October to see how much it's progressed and if he should resume any treatment, if it would help at all. So it's a miracle that he's still alive today. And so this is a really special piece for me because this is part of our trip. It exemplifies that, and it's not just this beautiful spot that maybe you've experienced some wonderful memories with your family, but it was an unforgettable experience to be able to go together on this trip where I don't know if we'll ever be able to anymore, especially because of the pandemic. It's caused a lot of changes for travel, and with what his health is doing now, we don't know, if we'll be able to do any more trips like this. So this trip was very special to us. So when I'm painting, these thoughts come to my mind, and as I finished it, it was like finishing the journey again. So how you feel at the end of a journey? Sometimes you're excited to go home, but at the same time, it's over. It's so sad that it's over. So I've even created a podcast of our journey. I wrote in my journal every day, as well as taking pictures and videos, and have created a channel where I share some of those pictures, which is probably only interesting to me. But the podcast is kind of interesting because I talk about some of the places, and if you're interested in traveling to California, then that might help you with going to Universal Studios or going to Six Flags, that kind of thing, and finding out whether you want to spend the money on those types of things, and going to the San Diego Zoo and getting some behind the scenes of what that experience was like. So, and also Stephen and I both love flowers and gardens, and there's something spiritual and special about them. So that's what this, picture means to me. And that's, I think, I wasn't expecting to feel so emotional at the end of it, but it did bring out these emotions in me because my love for my husband, about the uncertainty of the future, the near future, and of these experiences I will never forget. So thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you've enjoyed my banter a little bit. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments below or DM me on my other social channels. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.